Yeah, I figured I would jump on the live right now, and no, there's not a plumbing problem. It's just some ambient sounds. So maybe I should kill this light here. I don't know. I don't know how that works out. If that works out to be better or whatnot. Maybe I'll do this. But if you're coming in, please do say hello. Um, Also, hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. If you guys can hear my son out there, my son is yeah, he's having a little bit of fun or whatever, whatnot. What's going on? Yo, what's up? What's good? What's good? What's good? Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Budget Tech Reviews. What's going on? What's up? Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Happy Saturday. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how people think with this subject, right? With this subject of getting your device unlocked. Oh my gosh, man! So I have. I don't know. I was just curious about um, like what kinds of things are people saying to get their device unlocked? And man, did I open up a can of worms. Basically, I opened Pandora's box. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of stories too, and I'm just like, eh, you know. And so I figured I'd come on a live and just kind of chat with you guys, see what your guys' thoughts are. Like, what do you guys think about the different unlock policies? I actually should have brought those up. Hang on. What do you guys think of the unlock policies that these carriers have? Let's open a new tab for the T-Mobile one. I mean, that is the truth. You're not lying there. They want people to stay with them, obviously. Let's see. Where's Verizon's? There we go. Their device unlock policy. All right. So let's see. Oh no, I don't want notifications from T-Mobile. All right. So eligibility requirements for T-Mobile. This could be pretty interesting. Eligibility requirements for T-Mobile. First of all, the device must be sold by T-Mobile. Who the hell wrote this? Well, never mind. I'm not gonna laugh because there's probably people who like I found this phone on Facebook and bought it, and I want you guys to unlock it, and they don't even know who the carrier is, so they contact T-Mobile to do it, and T-Mobile was like, we can't do it. It's not our phone, so maybe that's why they put it in there. But anyways, the device must not be reported lost, stolen, or blocked. The account associated with the device must be in good standings. The device must also satisfy all postpaid or prepaid unlocking requirements outlined below. So for postpaid, the device must have been active on T-Mobile network for at least 40 days on the requesting line. If the device was financed or leased through T-Mobile, then all payments must be satisfied and the device must be paid in full. If the device is associated with a canceled account, then the account balance must be zero. T-Mobile may request proof of purchase or additional information in its discretion, and certain other expectations may apply. That's already finicky there. For prepaid, it says at least 365 days must be passed since the device was activated on the T-Mobile network. If the device was activated less than 365 days, then the prepaid account associated with the device must have had more than $100 in refills during that period for each line active on the account. In addition, more than 14 days must have passed since the device was purchased. No more than 2 mobile device unlocks have been completed per line of service in the last 12 months. T-Mobile may request proof of purchase or additional information in its discretion, and other certain expectations may apply. That's T-Mobile's. And the last little bit of it is a little bit shaky. It's always been a little bit shaky, right? They can request additional information at their discretion, and certain expectations may apply. So like what kind of expectations is T-Mobile asking for here? Can T-Mobile say that we'll unlock your device, you satisfied most of the requirements, but we do have some additional exceptions to this, and that could be that we need you guys to stand on one foot with your left arm pointing south-southwest, with a finger touching your nose, one eye is looking up to the sky, one is looking to the South Pole. Like, can they ask you to do that? I mean, what are these certain expectations may apply? Like what? You got to be under 35 years old on a Tuesday? Is that it? I mean, the reason I'm poking fun at it is because it's so vague. This is how they keep people trapped with them. Okay? Let's see. But you can't leave for a year. Yeah, that's on prepaid side. Liberty Prepaid, Puerto Rico, replaced Boost Mobile from December 31st. Okay, that's cool. Now, what's their unlock policy? That's what we're talking about today. That's what this whole live stream is going to be talking about, is carrier device unlock policies, and what do you guys think about them? I own all of my phones, so I push to have them unlocked. I mean, people can push to have them unlocked. No, there's no problem with that. Now, will they actually unlock it? And yes, this kind of correlates with the most recent news with Verizon now changing their unlock policy. So now if you get it through Verizon, it ain't 60 days. If it was purchased after January 13th, it's no longer 60 days. It's at their discretion. You must satisfy the device debt before they will unlock it, and they don't automatically unlock it anymore. You have to contact them and request it. If you purchase your device before January 13, 2026, it still falls under the 60-day unlock policy with Verizon. Rare weekend live stream. Yeah, it is. Very much is. It's very difficult to do it, but it happens. I mean, it's very difficult to do it because you have all these things. Like I was reading T-Mobile's unlock policy, right? Majority of those are pretty much like self-explanatory. Device must be paid off. Account must be in good standings. If the account was canceled, then the balance on that canceled account has to be 0. Why does it have to be 0? Well, you have to pay off your final bill. And if you were financing any devices on that account, then of course, when you cancel the account, all the remaining payments are all bundled on that last final bill. So yeah, if it's 0, it means the phone is paid off, which correlates with the requirement above it, which is that the device finance payments or lease payments must be satisfied and paid in full. I mean, yeah, it's on the final bill. So if the account is canceled, there can't be any remaining balance of any of those things. So I mean, that's just that, right? And of course, the device must be sold by T-Mobile for them to unlock it. Let's not forget that. I don't know who in their right mind thinks that they found the phone, so they're just going to go to T-Mobile and ask T-Mobile to unlock it for any carrier. That's just ridiculous. Let's see. Last year, March 19, 2025, switched from Boost Mobile to Simple Mobile. Now on T-Mobile 5G network in Puerto Rico here. Okay. I mean, yeah, that is cool, Luis. What's their device unlock policy? I'm asking you that for Liberty. What is their device network unlock policy? That's what we're talking about today. What happens if I go to the Apple Store and buy it straight from Apple? Does that mean that it's locked to T-Mobile? Okay, so it's weird. If you buy it network unlocked and then activate it on T-Mobile, you're fine. But if you go to the Apple Store and say you let the Apple rep know, like, I have T-Mobile and I'm upgrading from my 16 Pro Max to the 17 Pro Max. When they bring out the 17 Pro Max, it's not going to be an unlocked model. It's going to be a model that was designated for T-Mobile, and they'll do the upgrade in the Apple Store by logging into your T-Mobile account, doing the upgrade and everything. So yes, that device will be locked to T-Mobile's network, so you would have to go by T-Mobile's unlocking guidelines. So that's what happens if you get it through the Apple Store, which a lot of people didn't really understand that. They figured, by going into an Apple Store and saying, hey, I have Verizon and, one of my lines in my account is upgradable, so I want to get a new iPhone. Most people assume that you're getting an iPhone from the Apple Store and it's just going to automatically be network unlocked. And that's not the case, because if you let them do the upgrade through Verizon for you in the Apple Store, then your device is a Verizon device. It's not a unlocked model. Now, if you go in and you're like, I want to buy a new iPhone, I don't want it to be locked to any carrier, I'm going to pay, full MSRP for it or whatever, well then, yeah, then there's that. And that would be an unlocked model. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so Luis, if you're hearing me, let's stay on the subject today. Like, dope, awesome that you're on Liberty Prepaid in Puerto Rico. I get it. That's dope. Let's stick to topic today, because I want to get a lot of your guys' feedback on this device unlock, especially with Verizon joining the other carriers. And this is such a stupid thing for Verizon. This is what set them kind of above T-Mobile and AT&T on that one factor, that 60-day unlock policy. That was a factor that most people really, really liked about Verizon. This is why a lot of people championed for Verizon against AT&T and T-Mobile. Besides network connectivity, it was also about, getting a device through them, because that's what most customers were enjoying the benefit of. They were able to go and get deals like on the Pixel 10. Maybe Verizon had a deal on the Pixel 10. If you sign up with them, get a line of service with them on like their most expensive service plan, and you get the Pixel 10 for like $200. I mean, who's not going to want that deal? You know what I mean? And the cool part about it was that after 60 days, that Pixel 10 was unlocked to work on T-Mobile, to work on AT&T. So if Verizon didn't work out for you a couple of months after using their services, you could take your phone and go. Now you can't. You cannot now. Let's look at AT&T's device unlock policy. AT&T is still trolling the hell out of me, because I have the AT&T Internet Air, and then I have the T-Mobile Home Internet right on this corner. But yeah, this is the Wi-Fi gateway for the AT&T fixed wireless access internet, and they know I have a Pixel 10. So they keep telling me, like, activate your line for your Pixel 10 today. Like, no way. No way. I'm not spending $80 to $90 just for one line of service. Like, get out of here with that. The device unlock policy, I understand why it's there, but T-Mobile needs to put more defining words on what they mean on etc. things. Yeah. Yeah, they do. I mean, I know exactly what the device unlock policy is, and I'm not bound to any any embargoes by these companies that I worked for at all whatsoever. And I'm just gonna say it. I mean, most of you guys know it already. You guys have always been hitting been hitting the nail on the head always. When you guys sit there and you say they have these device unlock policies because they're trying to force you to stay with them, yes, that is the absolute point. This tactic, came to be after they did away with, 2-year contracts. There were too many people that were literally like fighting the system because they wanted to leave. Like there were so many open lawsuits against Sprint, and people were just like, Sprint doesn't work in my area, and so it's really bad, it's really horrible, it's terrible. And they won't let me go because they want me to pay, $300 as an early termination fee, or, $200 per line. And some people had like 5 lines, and, it was terrible. And altogether, these companies are like, they're not stupid. They're like, they can still have a form of a contract, just not contracting time. So you're not promising them 2 years of your business. Now it's 2 years because they let you buy a phone on a subsidized price, or on a sale. Maybe you put no money down because they ran your credit. The same way as they run your credit for a line of service, right? And to me, that was one of the most ridiculous things with Boost Mobile, because Boost Mobile will run your credit twice. So if you wanted a postpaid line under Boost Infinite back in the day before they changed the name to Boost Mobile to go with prepaid, you would run your credit the first time to get a line of service with Boost Mobile. And then if you wanted to finance a device, you would run your credit again to an extent. Now, I know that's not technically legal, but in some cases it did show up like a second credit hit, and it was so weird. And even at one point, like when I was working for Boost Customer Care, a separate company was the financing company, and so it really wasn't Boost Mobile running your credit twice. It was Boost running your credit for the phone line, and then a third-party company that they use for financing that was running your credit to see if you can finance a device or not. But you got dinged twice. Like, I've talking to 167 customers, all with the same thing, all with the same complaint, is that their credit was ran twice. And if you know anything about credit, when you do not a soft, because they were always telling us we're doing a soft credit check, which means that it had no impact on the customer's credit score, yet customers were actually proving that they had hard inquiries on their credit report. One was from Boost Mobile, one was from another company that was doing the financing. I think that lasted for like 3 months, and then they stopped doing that. But at the end of the day, it still impacted those customers. But yeah, there were a lot of people that were, it's so totally weird. But yeah, so they figured, with these devices in line, you would do 24-month payments to pay off the phone. And yeah, that was a contract. Because if you left the company, you didn't pay off the phone, one, they wouldn't unlock it, and two, it was a way for them to guarantee they would get, they would get the money for that device just for letting you come over to them. Because that's like the bait and switch thing, right? Trade in this phone to get this phone for free, and with 24-month credits and stuff like that. People just hear free and they come running. They just absolutely come running. Does this unlock policy work for TracFone? If I leave Total Wireless, the phone, hold on, these comments coming in. If I leave Total Wireless, will it be locked so I can't move the phone with me to another carrier? Yes, this applies to TracFone. This applies to Total by Verizon. It applies to anything prepaid under the Verizon umbrella, not MVNOs, right? So like Mobile X is a real MVNO. They're not owned by Verizon. But anything owned by Verizon follows Verizon's device unlock policy. I want more definition on the etc. things for T-Mobile for the unlock policy. Nobody knows what it is. It doesn't say on their website. You're more than welcome to go to the T-Mobile SIM unlock policy, and it tells you right there. But there's no additional thing, and T-Mobile's not going to tell people that, because I've talked to T-Mobile customer care just to try to get some answers on it. They don't even know what it is, or they're just not saying. They're not allowed to say it. Anyway, so here is AT&T's requirements. Device bought 60 plus days ago. You purchased your AT&T wireless device more than 60 days ago. It isn't active on another AT&T account. Man, they really need to have people who have proper grammar to create these pages for customers. Device paid in full. You paid for your device in full at purchase, or paid it off through an installment plan. Your installment balance must be zero before unlocking. Device not reported, lost, or stolen. That's self-explanatory. Account is current. If your current AT&T customer, if you are a current AT&T customer, your bill can't be past due. Sign into your account to make a payment. Okay, and then to find out if your device is unlocked, if you have an eligible Apple, Samsung, or Google device on an AT&T wireless plan, and it meets all the requirements, it should unlock by itself. Apple Watch is always unlocked. So Apple Watches through AT&T are always unlocked, but not the phones. Then they tell you how to go to it. They don't talk about AT&T prepaid either. Oh wait, they do. So that's AT&T regular wireless. Let's go to AT&T prepaid. Okay. With AT&T prepaid unlock requirements, has 6 months of paid AT&T service, isn't active on another AT&T account, isn't reported lost, stolen. So, okay. 6 months, 180 days, and then it gets unlocked. For SIM card, you can check your device unlock status by inserting a non-AT&T SIM card into your device. If you see a message saying that the SIM card is not compatible with AT&T network, your device is still locked. For eSIM, you'll need to request a device unlock according to your device type. So when you do device unlocking, you could do the device network unlock, but you also have to have them do a device, SIM unlocking for eSIM. Otherwise, it's just gonna like constantly try to install an AT&T eSIM. Let's see, Radiant Switch Tech. What's up, man? What's going on? Mobile industry is regressing, and RIP Verizon to the. Yeah, I know a lot of people are upset about Verizon and them getting granted by the FCC to change their unlock policy. They still haven't updated their unlock policy, so it still shows the old unlock policy, which is 60 days. It will automatically unlock for prepaid. It tells you here, as long as the device is not lost or stolen or blacklisted in 60 days, prepaid or postpaid will be unlocked. So it still shows that unlock policy. However, they did make a system-wide note that if your device was purchased after January 13, 2026, you fall under the new unlocking policy guidelines. If your device was purchased before January 13, 2026, you are still bound by the old policy, which is the 60-day unlock policy. So I guess that's why they haven't really updated it on their site. Honestly, it's just that at this point they're waiting until probably they're a little bit further in. Maybe they're trying to stop a mass exodus. Maybe they're worried that if like people heard, oh, Verizon's changing their device unlock policy, they probably have like a rush of people going to the Verizon website and looking for the device unlock policy to see if it's true. And if people come to this to this policy and see this and they're like, oh, it's still 60 days, maybe that person got it wrong, or maybe it's just for something else, they're not going to want to port out. I can assure you guys, if you guys got your phone before January 13, 2026, you fall under the old policy. Your device will still be automatically unlocked after 60 days. New purchases after January 13th, you will have to go by the new policy. And one of the things of Verizon's new policy is that they won't automatically unlock it even if you meet the requirements. They won't. You have to call into them and request that. Even though you know that you've met the requirements, you still have to make the attempt. They're not going to automatically unlock it. And the reason why they won't automatically unlock it is because if someone like says, oh yeah, I want to go to Mint Mobile, and they get like a SIM card the moment they plug it into the phone, and it says that the SIM card is not compatible with Verizon's network, then they're hoping that like, okay, you know what, it's not going to work, and they just quit. Some people don't want to stay on a phone call and try to get the device unlocked or anything like that. So that's like, that's one of the very crappy things about it. So yeah, the device locking thing, that's a trap. That's a trap because not everybody is financially irresponsible, okay? This whole notion and idea that people are financially irresponsible, so everybody's just going to jack their credit up, like, no. There are people that I know, good friends of mine, that watch their credit report very closely. And anything that seems out of place or whatever, they dispute. They make sure that it's taken off their credit report, and that only things that actually should be on their credit report that they know they've done is on their credit report, right? They're not always trying to cheat the system. I know my previous iPhone 13 was on Verizon via a trade-in. It was locked for 60 days and auto unlocked after. Yeah, that's just because That's because you didn't get that. You didn't get that device recently, right? We're only at January 17th, so we're only 4 days into the new device unlock policy that Verizon has put out. So yeah, I think one of the sad things that I'm going to share this story with you guys because I've worked customer care for Sprint, I've worked retention for Sprint, I've worked for customer care for Boost Mobile, I worked for expert care with Mobile X, so I'm familiar with how this stuff works. And the one thing that I do want to point out to people for people to grasp and get, like to understand, sob stories don't always work. So don't try. Just don't. I have heard it all. There were even some stories that were told to me in my time working in that industry that really like kind of hit me in the core of my heart, and my bosses would still tell me, no, we're not doing it. And I would get mad at my bosses. I would get mad at my team leads because I'm like, how could you be so heartless? Like I've had people call and they're like, I've got to go to Thailand, or I got to go to Vietnam, or I got to go to China. So and so passed away. I need my phone to be network unlocked, and we'll go and we'll do an international unlock on the phone. And then like 2 days later they call back and they're like, it's not working, can we just get it fully unlocked? And that's like, one of the last steps, right, is to making sure that the phone can work on any network, any carrier, any service provider, internationally or, domestically. We would just fully network unlock the phone. But it tells you in, the terms and conditions that, we have access to overlook and just make sure that all requirements are met. And we would go look, and it would say that they still need to meet the device unlocking policy. And it's like, well, crap, they don't. So then, my team leads, well, we can't do it. We already put in for an international unlock. Maybe they want to grab an international plan. So you know how Verizon's international plan, AT&T's international plan, T-Mobile's international plans are not the greatest. So yeah, sob stories don't work. The company doesn't care if you had a pet dog that you considered part of your family who passed away yesterday, and your credit score dropped 10 points. Your boss is riding your ass to getting your project done, in like a certain time. Your wife is being mean to you. Your children aren't obeying you. Like, they don't care. They don't care what your sob story is. Some reps will move away from empathy to sympathy really fast, and a lot of care reps, they are trained not to fall into that sympathy trap. Like, you have empathy. You can let the customer know that you understand what they're going through. You can relate to how they feel, but you're still going to go by policies and guidelines. Whereas someone who's sympathetic is the same as someone who's empathetic, but the difference is that they will move mountains and clear waters to help somebody, because not only do they understand what they're going through, but they have put themselves in the same emotional state as that person, and they're trying to make anything happen to help that person out of the hole or the lake that they're in. And it's like, yeah, put it this way. These policies are in place. This is why carriers outsource customer care. This is why, and I've heard it all the time, because when I used to work for Boost Mobile, I did this, and I know my bosses, they thought it was funny, but they would also tell me too, I couldn't do it all the time because I can get in trouble. But my younger brother, my younger sister, they're Filipino. At a point in time in my life, I was raised in the Philippines. And so, I know how their accents are. I know how their dialect is. So if I wanted to, I can sound like a Filipino rep. And I would do that for fun, And my bosses would be like, you have to maintain that. That was the thing with them. They're like, if you're going to put on an accent, if you're going to put on an Irish accent, or if you're going to put a Japanese accent, you have to maintain it through the entire call. Because if you don't, and your regular accent comes out, you are dinged. And most of the time, they won't let you do it. If you do it, you'll get in trouble. Only very few times that they will allow it, because it's not really part of their policy at all. Hello, Gene. It's not part of their policy at all. So, anyways, yeah, I did the Filipino accent, and I got told by a customer, and they're like, yeah, that's why I hate this company because they be outsourcing to you stupid, Filipinos and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, dang, like freaking rip me, just because you hear that, I have a Filipino accent because I'm like, playing around. But this is the reason why companies outsource to the Philippines. They outsource to to India. They outsource to all these places. The reason why is because a lot of the customer care reps, like in the Philippines, right? Most of them are probably in Quezon City in Luzon, and because that's like a really metro built up city, and they know you can't touch them. You can't lay a finger on them. You can threaten that you'll look for them, but you ain't gonna find them because you have to go to the Philippines to find them. And in the Philippines, those major cities, they're not safe anyway. So these are people who walk home, and they have to worry about their own people being superly aggressive. And we're not talking about the aggression that we see in the ghetto here in America. I'm talking about like for them, they walk through barrios over there, and there's like crazy guys who drink and everything, and like they're like a gang, but it's not like Bloods or Crips or anything like that. It's like their own little clique of people from their barrio, and they walk around with what's called bolo knives and freaking machetes. That's their weapon. Like they don't want to pop one in you. They're just gonna take your head off and bury it somewhere so your body's unidentifiable unless you got tattoos. And so they're not scared of our threats on the phone. So we could scream at them. We can threaten that, we're going to harm their dog. We're going to harm their cat. If they had a hermit crab, we're going to kick it and then harm it. Like, they don't care. They'll stick to the policy. They're trained to go by policy. They will stick by policy regardless of what you say. Job stories that you can say in the entire world. You caught your wife cheating on you, or you caught your husband cheating on you, or you were in a bad accident. 2 weeks, your back is hurting, and you can't take a proper shit. They don't care. If the device does not meet the requirements, they are going to respectfully apologize, and only the way that they can. They're the one people that can deliver bad news when you can tell just by the way they sound. They got a smile on their face, and they're not worried about anything. They are carefree. They are carefree. What up, Sneed? They are carefree. Did you give way too much latitude to these awful carriers that have been fined and sued for hidden fees and monopoly behaviors for years? What do you mean by did I give too much latitude? I mean, like, yeah, these are all awful carriers because they don't do what we want. Because there's also that fine line, right? Like I caught Sneed's video today. If you guys didn't catch it, go catch it. Where he talks about the $20 credit because of the Verizon outage. And I said something similar a couple days ago, or a day ago. I think it was like yesterday. I did a little small shorts and I was talking about it. And I had said, like, for us, having like 6 hours of no connection, and to us, it's like, give me $100. Like, you fucked my whole day up. Give me $100 because I missed work. Give me $100 because I couldn't text my babe. She couldn't text me. We just had no service. Yeah, we're angry because we had like 6, 7, 8 hours of downtime, so we were upset. So we want like $100. And the reality of things, the way that they look at it, is like, if you have one line of service, say on Verizon, and they look at it, you're paying $90 a month. They're gonna take that $90, divide it by 3, and when you do that, that's the amount of credit that you technically should be given, even though you didn't have a full 24 hours of with no service. They will just chalk it up and round it up to 24 hours. So that's that. You know what I mean? That's how they look at it. So by them saying we're giving you $20, to them they're giving you far more than what you should get. Yeah, I did the math just to make sure I was correct. $3. So a $3 credit is what technically, if you're on a $90 plan, $3 is what technically you should have been credited for. If they wanted to get real technical about it, then they can divide that up by 24 and then just go by the amount of hours, right? So like, 0.125. So let's chalk it up to 13 cents. So that's that. 13 cents an hour. So to Verizon, a $20 credit, they're giving you more than a week's worth of service credit, right? You're getting like a third of a $90 bill credited to you. That's how they look at it. To us, $20 won't fill half a tank of gas. $20 won't buy dinner for the entire family. $20 couldn't even get you a decent outfit if you're going on a date. It might get you the undershirt of your jacket, but it sure as hell ain't getting you no trousers, no sneakers, no new socks, no new boxers or silk undies, whatever, guys are into wearing these days. Yeah, you ain't getting a proper fit. Notice why I say that's because, when I was like 15, 16, 17 years old, $20, I can walk into a clothing store, like an urban style clothing store, and come out with some Menace, some Menace pants and a Ben Davis shirt back in the day. I mean, yeah. That was like all my money. So if I wanted to go out to eat, I had to make sure I save up money for like 3 weeks so I could buy an outfit, buy some shoes, and then have money to take my girlfriend out to dinner. And yeah, that's the reality of things. So, man, but yeah, go check out this video. But yeah, these camera reps in the Philippines, they don't care. They do not care what your story is. They just don't. You're not going to get them to bend. This is why there's an existence of different companies you find online that says, we can unlock your phone for like $30 or $40, depending on what the device is and how hard is it going to be for them to actually unlock it. And as a gig driver, a secondary line on a different network is non-negotiable. It's a must-have. You know who I think would make a killing on that idea, Sneed? Because like my wife and I, we do Amazon Flex, right? So yeah, we carry multiple devices. There's always 2 devices that's got to be carried on me. But I would love if US Mobile, because like if US Mobile, you can have access to 2 different networks, right? They basically give you 2 phone lines, but they have to be on the same phone. It would be awesome. I don't care if they're like, okay, you know what, we're going to charge you an additional $5 a month to have those SIMs separated on 2 different devices, because that would have been cool as hell. But of course, they would take losses, right? Because to them, the way that they see it is that if you want, say T-Mobile access, but you want it on a different phone, but then just get the $25, T-Mobile unlimited starter line, Yeah, they are pretty good. So I do like US Mobile. I think they're pretty decent. They must have like a really good relationship with AT&T, because if you're on the $25 plan, unlimited Dark Star, that plan was honestly really good. I liked it for $25. It was fully unlimited. Warp, I think, was like 70 gigs of priority data access before throttle, and I think it was the same on Lightspeed. No, other than that, I mean, for $25, regardless if you're like, capped at 70, you capped at 70 gigs, it's like most people don't really reach that. Especially when they got stuff like home internet. I mean, I got 2 different home internets. T-Mobile home internet, AT&T Air right there. I got 2 different ones. So I'm always active. I'm always connected, to like a good strong signal when I need to, especially if I'm podcasting from the PC. I mean, today I'm just going live on the mobile phone. But yeah, if I'm podcasting from PC and everything like that, for sure, yeah. So this mobile is actually pretty decent. It's pretty good. My wife still has the US Mobile. She's got the unlimited Dark Star, so she's got like full unlimited, uncapped data for her. So she's good and golden on that. And AT&T's pretty much okay here in my city. At least where I live at is like it's pretty decent. I'd say like ping is like, between 25 milliseconds, 30 to 25 milliseconds is the ping, right? Between 500, to like kind of close to 700 on the loaded down, with download speeds averaging like 145 to 250 megabits per second. Uplink is like at 10 to 15 megabits per second. Yeah, it does pretty good here. Verizon to me though is the one that's got the best network quality. Doesn't matter if my speed test shows 102 megabits per second and 5 megabits per second uplink. Network quality, I can stream 720p, I can stream 480p, and it's not crashing. It's not getting the loops, the loading loop or anything like that. It does pretty good. That's pretty good. Even the visible base, it's been strange because I always thought that visible base was like capped at 200 megabits per second on the downlink, like they have a cap on it. And I don't know because this is my second month being on visible, and I don't know if maybe they cap it at your third month. Because I've heard stories, I've heard rumors, people would say, well, visible is good for like the first month or two, and then it starts to become very sluggish when you're on base, and they kind of like try to push you towards the plus or plus premium. But like for right now, the visible base plan that I have, which is $19 a month because I'm on that promo for 2 years and 2 months, it's pretty decent speeds. Like my average speed's 340 megabits per second down, about 20 to 30 megabits per second on the uplink. And live streaming is really good on it. Like this right now, I'm using, I believe, the T-Mobile home internet connected to my Pixel 9a, which doesn't have any service on it at all whatsoever. My Pixel 5 has the Darkstar SIM, and then Pixel 7 has Mobile X with a $25 promo plan they have until April, and then visible on the Pixel 10. I had Verizon. I took advantage of Verizon's 30-day trial. It just ended yesterday, but I had that on my Pixel 10. But US Mobile is actually pretty solid. Shout out to whoever, by the way, too. That was like pretty cool. I didn't think anyone was going to do it, and then I got notified 3 weeks ago because I have a unique promo code from from US Mobile. I don't get, it doesn't give out any credits or anything like that. So I had it in the description, and somebody actually used it. So, yeah, US Mobile's like sending me just a small payment because someone not only signed up with US Mobile, but they've stayed beyond 30 days. And so I was like, cool. Like, so I appreciate whoever used that and signed up. I see the same with AT&T and Verizon. I believe we live in the same city. So I live in Glendale. I don't know exactly which side of the city you live, but I live in Glendale. My cross streets are 43rd Avenue and Bethany Home. There's another guy who lives nearby us, Ace Lucero Tech, I think his name is, but he doesn't actually live in Phoenix. I think he lives in Prescott. So yeah, there's a couple of YouTubers I know that are nearby me. I haven't ran into anybody yet, or I've met up with anybody. The only person I've met up with was Carlos, and he wasn't living in Phoenix. He lives out in Vegas, but he came down like several times. Him and Ray both came down several times. Carlos was supposed to come down, but I guess because of CES, I guess he forgot about CES, so he ended up not coming down on the weekend. It was kind of a bummer because he asked me to ask my wife if she wanted to hang out with him, and we were like, his significant other, we were supposed to go on a double date, and he didn't show up. She took those 2 days off just to be able to do that. So rain check, if Carlos hits me up, he's like, hey, you know what, we'll do it on another time or whatever. I mean, that's cool. Hopefully not around spring break time because I won't be in Phoenix during spring break. I'm taking my kids and we're getting out. Like, it's one of the things that I always get amazed. Like, I struggle a lot in life, but I always somehow find a way to get my kids out of the city and other places, get them cultured from different states, around different people and whatnot. So I'm always surprised about that. So yeah, we won't be here for spring break. We'll be gone for 6 days. Actually, 8 days, because 1 day of traveling out Midwest. I'm spending 3 days with my dad, and then I'm leaving, his town, driving up north to my younger brother to meet my sister-in-law, because I haven't met her yet. I wasn't able to go to his wedding, which sucked. I wish I could have been there. So I'm actually taking my kids to go meet up with my brother and my sister-in-law. And so, yeah, we're all going to hang out. Oh, you live near, so you're like on the opposite end of me. You're on the other side near Mesa and Gilbert. Yeah, yeah, not bad. Probably like a 35-minute drive from where I live. Gene, thanks so much for the I guess this is super chat. A great stream. I guess so. I'm glad you're liking the stream. Yeah, I was gonna do everything as a podcast, but I'll probably just I'll wait till Monday. This is a weekend. I think people should enjoy their weekend. So if I'm doing a live stream, it's from the mobile phone, and I'm probably gonna cut this up into small clips from some of those main points that I made. So yeah, sob stories don't work. Believe me, they don't work. Maybe one out of every 10,000 customers who calls in with a sob story could actually get it their way and get the device unlocked. But majority of the time, sob stories is not going to help them. And going to social media, like going to Facebook and tagging, Verizon in it, tagging Boost Mobile in it, calling, talking crap about them, it doesn't. The only thing that's come close to working is filing an FCC report. But when you file that FCC report to get your device unlocked, you must have met the requirements to get it unlocked. If you have not met any of the requirements in their unlock policy, the FCC is not going to push it. You're going to email, and they'll probably have like a copy of the unlock policy from the carrier that you filed a complaint against, and they will highlight the bullet points of things that you did not fulfill, and tell you this is why you're not getting it unlocked, and then they'll just close your case. So even using the FCC is not something that you can abuse, because the FCC will look into it. Like, they have people that will look into your case. They will look into your accounts. They will look into all those things. That's why they tell you when you file a report with the FCC that you have to be detailed, the carrier's name, all that information, and your information, so that way they can ID you to the carrier, so they can get your account pulled up. And then if they're in the wrong, the FCC will give them so many days to correct that, which means that you'll end up with an unlocked device. Like, that's how I got the Moto G Stylus 2024 unlocked, even though technically it fell on their new policy where you had to wait a year instead of 180 days, because their changed in what was it? They said, I think it was in July of 2024, they said that they had changed it up, where they had changed it to 1 year of active service on Metro to get it unlocked. And the phone, it shows when the phone was purchased. The phone was purchased sometime in August. I bought it used from somebody. But the reason why I was able to win my case with the FCC is because when you go into the settings, about phone, you go down to network status and you click on it. When it pulls up, it says 180 days and not 365. And I screenshotted that. That was the only saving grace that forced Metro to network unlock that phone, because I had met the 6-month requirement. And so yeah, they ended up unlocking it. But that's like a 1 in a million, one shot in the dark. Somebody who tries to activate it now, like, not activate, but unlock their Verizon device, say they bought it January 15th this month or whatever. If you screenshot the policy on Verizon and keep a copy of it, you may be able to force the unlock, because it still says on their website 60 days. It still says after 60 days we will automatically remove the lock, unless the device is deemed stolen or purchased fraudulently. I purchased it from Metro in 2021, but trying to unlock it is a hassle. So can't. And your OnePlus Nord N200, they're giving you a hard time unlocking that. They really shouldn't be giving you a hard time unlocking that. I mean, the Nord N200, that came out a couple years ago. That came out during when they were still doing the 180-day unlock. Now, was the phone active for the 180 days? Because if you say you activated it in June and you used service on it from June, July, August, and then you didn't pay your bill, didn't use Metro from like September, October, November, and then you activate it in December, and you're like, it's been 6 months, unlock it. There's a gap where you didn't use it on the Metro service. They're not gonna count it as 6 months achieved. So you have to make sure that it's been active for 6 months straight on Metro. Same thing like with this this person that was chatting it up on the Boost Mobile Facebook page that I manage, that I own, and they were just literally talking about they left Metro, came to Boost, got the Razor Flip, whatever the case may be, and they were upset because they're on the $65 plan. They can't drop to the $25 plan, so they want to leave and go somewhere else to have affordable phone service, and the Razor's locked, and they're mad that Boost won't unlock it. And it's like, you haven't met all the requirements. You got the phone on sale. So whether you finance the phone or you get it on a subsidized sale price, then you're following the 365-day unlock policy on Boost. If you buy the phone full MSRP on Boost Mobile, they will unlock it after 48 hours. Unless they change that, but that's what they were doing. If you finance the phone, you just have to pay it off, and then you can get it unlocked. As far as getting a phone on a subsidized discounted price, that is the requirement to get the phone at that price. You have to agree to be not only to activate, but to stay on their $65, like their most expensive plan. The same thing happens with Metro. You go to Metro by T-Mobile's website, you look at all the phones that got sales on. Get an iPhone 13 for $50, or maybe now it's like get an iPhone 13 for free. And it'll tell you that you have to be on the most expensive plan. But even if you're ordering it online instead of going to a Metro store to get one, when you go through all the options, if you pick the $40 plan, you're going to see the normal price of the iPhone 13. You pick the $50 plan, it's going to be the normal price. It's only when you choose a $65 plan, and then you'll see that discount promo apply before you hit next to go to the checkout page. So yeah, a lot of these companies do that. They're like, yeah, you can get this phone discounted, but you have to be on the most expensive plan. Now, I believe Boost Mobile requires at least 9 months of being on the $65 plan before they will allow you to downgrade your plan to the $25 plan. Some are saying you have to be on it for a year, but that also meets the requirement for the device unlock. If you have active service on Boost Mobile straight for 365 days, then they'll unlock it anyways. So I think maybe somebody will every now and then make an exception and allow a customer to switch from the $65 plan down to the $25 plan. Boost Mobile needs to have better plans anyways. 25 for 30 gigs, 50 for 40 gigs, and then 60 for 50 gigs. That's crazy. They really need to revamp their plan. They need to do for 60 I would give 100 gigs. For 50 I would give 50 gigs. And then for the $25 plan, I would give at least 35 gigs. Come close to 40, but not really close to 40. That's the reason why they keep these locks, right? That's the reason why they have these device, locks. Like, they know most people do care about their credit. They do care about finances attached to them. They do care about making sure that they don't have any debt lingering on them. There are people out there who are working towards buying their first home, or working towards actually buying their first brand new car and not a secondhand used off a used car lot, right? Like they want to buy a fresh smelling, odometer reads 2.3 miles because it was driven from like one lot to the other, and that's as much miles as was put on it, right? And you got to have really good credit in order to be able to finance a car like that. You got to have good credit to be able to finance to own a home in a good neighborhood. That's a nice stylish home and not in a bad area or whatever, whatnot. So, these carriers are nuts if they think that people are just willing to sacrifice their credit just to get a phone, just to get a smartphone. Right? Smartphones are becoming almost as expensive as used cars are, to be honest with everybody. But majority of people do care about their credit. So this whole excuse that we're locking the device down because we want to make sure that they pay off the phone before we unlock it. No, they don't need to. The true story is that They got you to come over to them, and they're gonna make sure you don't leave. It's like a relationship being in an abusive relationship, right? They expect you to be the good partner to shut up and take it, and they're hoping eventually, after so many letdowns, after so many times they tell you no, we're not unlocking it. No, we don't care if so and so passed away, we're not unlocking it. That you'll just eventually just shut up and take it, and then you'll be that good submissive customer who just keeps forking over cash to the company. Because there's only 3 companies. We don't have 4. Boost Mobile's not a 4th carrier. We don't have anyone stepping in that role. We can make all these suggestions like Xfinity should become the 4th carrier. But how would Xfinity become the 4th carrier? They don't build their own network. They use Verizon. We already seen what happened. Boost tried to build their own network. They were doing okay. A lot of people loved Boost native 5G, and then all of a sudden now they're not a 4th carrier. They're selling their spectrum to Starlink and to AT&T. Now they're being sued by all these tower companies that they had a long-term agreement to use these cell towers for their, basically to disperse their Boost native 5G coverage. And so they're not meeting that contractual obligation that they had set in stone. And so now EchoStar is being sued by, I think, 2 companies that own towers across the United States. And Boost is in a lot of trouble. But that'll be for like Monday's podcast. We're going to talk about Boost Mobile on Monday. So that's... Give me 1 second, it's my wife. Hey, hon. What time you guys are already done? Okay. Tell me you're ready. Okay. Love you. Bye. We're gonna go to the park. I'm excited. Yeah, good timing that I gotta cut this live stream because I'm going to the park to play soccer with my kids, so I gotta tell them to get ready, get the soccer ball and the football. We're gonna go play. I'm excited. I heard Xfinity is its own company when it comes to mobile. Instead of building towers, they're using small cells to have their own mobile business and get rid of Verizon. Yeah, but that's not what it is now, right? And like I said, we already seen what happened with Boost. I don't know if Xfinity has the capital, the money to be able to do this. Okay, because building out your own network is not nickels and dimes. And so I just don't have faith. I don't have faith that we'll see a 4th carrier anytime soon. But anyways, thanks for hanging out with me on this quick live. I appreciate it. I love you guys very much. Thanks for all the support. Thank you to those who subscribe to the Pixel Sideload channel. You guys are awesome. We are at 36 subscribers right now. So pretty awesome. I've been dropping some new videos on there. And this coming week, I'm going to get into the groove of it. Because I got like 6 weeks before spring break. And I also got to work on some videos for spring break to make sure that these videos go live for you guys while I'm actually not making any content. Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your weekend. I love you guys very much. Be safe. Yeah. Aloha. Talk to you guys later.